Hello and welcome back to Voices That Shift You. I'm Ariya Nair, a life and career coach, a founder of DYC by Arya, and your guide through stories of grit, growth, and transformation. In each episode, we meet someone whose journey widens our lenses of possibility, someone who's been through fire and emerged with a message for all of us. And today's conversation will stretch our understanding of strength, discipline, and what it means to endure physically, mentally, and spiritually. Because our guest has walked various terrains and held the weight of service on his shoulders and yet remained deeply grounded in humanity. So let's dive in. Today we have Colonel Jangvir Lamba, who is a fourth generation Indian Army officer who exemplifies the perfect balance of military discipline and athletic determination. A distinguished ultra endurance athlete, he has completed some of the world's most demanding races, including the Ironman 140.6 triathlon in Taiwan, the 253.5-kilometer long, the 38th edition of the legendary Marathon des Sables across the Sahara Desert, and multiple Ironman events in India, Malaysia, and Australia. Alongside his service as an Indian Army officer, he is also a former professional bodybuilder and a national level certified bodybuilding judge. Colonel Lamba's journey is one of the paradoxes, enormous ambition and deep humility, pushing limits and cultivating connection, seeking toughness and honoring vulnerability. I've prepared some questions for him, but before that, welcome him to this experience of Voices That Shift You. And I thank you so much, Colonel, for being here. It's such an honor.
Thank you so much, Arya. What a privilege to be here with you on YouTube. And well, to give a short brief of myself, I am fourth generation Indian Army officer. And the journey started way back when my great grandfather came back home from the British Army way back in 1990. And then on, the family has been serving the nation. I've had the privilege of, serving in both the eastern and the northern sectors of this country, and you know, got into sports, got into endurance sports because of certain medical condition. I'll also speak about a little about my parents and my bringing up years. Uh, it was way back in 81, 82 when we were in class fifth, sixth, and it was then on that we were getting forced into amazing steel and by means of physical exercises and by means of mental training at home. My father is from Gurkhas, and we are two brothers and sister. And my we're settled in Jaipur. My brother is a serving colonel, and sister is happily married and settled in Delhi. That's how the story has been from my start. And endurance for me started 4 years back, and I was a professional bodybuilder earlier. And as you rightly brought out, I have been the national level bodybuilding judge. And but 4 years back, that I got detected with at 8 places in my spine, I had disc bulge, out of which at 5 places I had disc indenting and touching the thecal sac, and so I had pain in my right shoulder, numbness in my palm, and I had sciatica issues, and I was fighting on and reported to the best medical facility of the armed forces. And wherein after they had two options. One was to continue with medication, and second was, of course, to get myself treated by means of getting it operated. I took the second option, and while I moved out with a month's medication, and also with an advice that beyond this, there are certain things that I need to do. Maybe stop bodybuilding, stop weight training, weightlifting, running on hard surface, and of course, so at the same time, so one of the doctors told me that if you reduce your weight, I have 112 kg body weight, and if you reduce your weight, maybe you will have lesser compression on the spine.
Mm.
And that was the reason that I got into endurance. And 6 months down the line, then I was doing my first half Ironman at Goa, because I come from a family where we don't decide on reducing weight by means of start going for walks or maybe doing intermittent fasting. So I checked out what can I do, what can be so challenging, what motivates me is, and what inspires me, and that's when I came to know that there's something called Ironman. It's the toughest one-day event in the world,
Yeah.
and I registered, went about doing 4 Ironman events, and in the run, I also did my toughest foot race on planet, the legendary Marathon des Sables, the 38th edition at Morocco, southern Morocco. So that's how it has been, and now I'm preparing for another race, and though I'll not talk about it, and the journey is on, the beautiful journey is on.
So, Colonel, like you explained so beautifully about your journey till here, I would just like to understand, as I'm a transition coach, I would love to hear from you the experiences that you faced from bodybuilding to endurance training, and especially when you were healing mentally, physically, both of it. So what went on in your mind, and what were the things that you kept on telling yourself so that you could push yourself harder to ultimately reach where you are today? I would just love to hear that from you.
Arya, it's quite a fight. Let me tell you, both these
Yes,
sports are exactly opposite.
absolutely.
Bodybuilding is all about burst energy
Mm,
and building up muscularity, and whereas endurance sports is it's endurance energy is a different energy altogether.
yes.
And uh, in endurance sports, you reduce your weight, body weight, and so the first race when I did that was Ironman 70.3 at Goa.
Mm,
Um, my weight was almost about 100 kgs. I had reduced by about 10, 12 kgs, but I was still weighing 100 kgs. And that's a massive weight to, it's
yes.
like an additional weight that you carry piggyback while swimming or maybe cycling or running.
True.
So at the same time, I had issues I had issues of muscular issues. That is
Mm,
having more cramps
yes.
while doing these races
Right.
because the muscle size was much bigger and the body demanded more hydration and it expended more energy. So, the nutrition that you take while doing these events uh, was, more on me. I mean, it was more demanding.
Mm,
But slowly, I think the change that happened. And of course, my routine had been amazing. I mean, since I am serving officer,
yeah.
during the day we have office hours, and in the evenings we have certain compulsory engagements. So the best time that I found to train was early morning. So I used to get up at 2, and my training used to start at 2:30 in the morning.
At two. Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
So from 2:30 on, it was I had a proper program for myself as to. So early morning, it used to be a 100-kilometer bike ride. I used to generally finish in about 3 hours, 15 minutes, 3 hours, 20 minutes,
Okay.
and a 10 km run and a 2 km swim. And in the afternoons again, I had a routine of about 30 to 40 kilometers of cycling and what
Mm,
4 km swim and 5 km walk. And this went on. And this was the routine when I was speaking. Maybe when I was 3 months or 4 months down in training. And then you taper down the training. And for last 7, 10 days, you very rarely train. You try and build up your glycogen stores in the body and you give some rest to your muscles and mentally get ready to take on the race. So, but then, Arya, uh, Ironman triathlon, I
mhm.
saw this. I saw this in Ironman Goa. I saw this in a lot of these international races, Ironman races where I went. That generally people break down when they finally finish the race. And and I also went through a similar kind of thing, and I did realize it's because nobody knows your journey. Nobody knows your journey. Nobody knows what it takes to be an Ironman athlete, triathlete, and how much effort you have put
True.
while training. So
Yes.
probably that is the reason that it's a very it's a kind of isolated thing. It's a mental fight. It's everybody wants to sleep early morning. Nobody wants to get up. You want to have the best of time, but then people who train for Ironman triathlons, I think they spend a lot of time outside training. So
Yes.
uh, that's how it was. That's how it was.
From what I understand, it's a combination of consistency, discipline, and determination. Because if either of these are not there, then I mean, you cannot reach where you are. So, Colonel, you did mention about feeling isolated sometimes when you complete the race, right? So, how do Ironman people deal with that generally? I mean, do you are you prepared for that beforehand? Do you know that this normally happens? Did you know back then, or only when you faced it you realized, oh, this can happen?
Arya, what happens is that this particular race, in the end, there's great satisfaction when
Right.
you hear your name and they announce you as Ironman. That's an amazing thing to
Yes.
hear. But then I must tell you, isolation is a feeling that you get while you're training because nobody's training.
Right.
And like for example, what I was training, I used to get up at 2. So everybody was asleep. Nobody knew
Yes.
what exactly I'm up to and the kind of effort that you need to put in. So I think you know when you go on an endurance training like that, uh, initially you get this feeling of isolation, and as you slowly build up, you start liking it more because it shows on to you. It shows on your physical development, and it shows on your kind of mental strength and the satisfaction that you are drawing out of it.
Yes.
And I think it turns into something called solitude. You start liking it more. And it is the solitude, it is the inner strength which finally leads you to cross that finish line very strong.
I think the discipline that you develop, and like you said, eventually you end up liking the training, even if you're doing it alone. It kind of gives you a sense of satisfaction, right? Where you are today versus where you started.
Yeah, very much, very much.
That's beautiful to know. So, your journey spans across the battlefield, bodybuilding stages, and the harsh terrains of ultra endurance races. So, I would like to understand what keeps you grounded through all of this.
I'll put it this way that we all try and achieve something in life, and along with the achievement comes maybe a medal or maybe some kind of glory.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that needs to be realized that uh, glory finally fades away, and what stays is the lesson. And
Mm.
I mean, you achieve something on a particular day, and the next day is a old past story. It's gone by,
Yes.
and the lessons that you draw, the experience that you get, is phenomenal. I think that is exactly what enriches your life.
Yes.
And lessons, they're going to stay with you afresh in your mind throughout your life, and glory will certainly fade away. So there's this one fact, and uh, during my military service, uh, but before the military service, I must also tell you that the purpose is always bigger than the achievement. It's always bigger. And achievement is what? Achievement is just a single medal that you get at the end of the day. And I've seen these medals hanging on the walls of various athletes, various people I know. They display their medals. They only gather dust. Medals only gather dust. You must know this. And maybe over the years, like I've been in the army, and army has, you know, taught me, you know, humility in the face of adversity and in the face of uncertainty. My sports of bodybuilding, it
Mm.
taught me patience while I pursued perfection, and the present sport of mine, that is extreme endurance. It teaches you to kind of respect the elements of the mother nature, and
Yes.
yet at the same time have the strength to go on. And if you look at it in the bigger wisdom, I think achievements are temporary, Arya. they are temporary. And in any case, we are here for a very short while. So
Yes.
we need to, have a great life, and we need
Yes.
to live well. So I think I see all these things this way.
That's beautiful. So to summarize, I feel the memories and lifelong learning that you have through various phases in life keeps you more rooted to the purpose that
Yeah,
to
yeah,
understand why you're here.
very much, very much.
Wonderful. I loved it. And I'm
Oh,
taking notes for myself because I am very young and learning all of these from you is very helpful for me in my future. So thank you so much.
thanks so much, Arya. Thanks.
So, I would like to understand that many in today's generation struggle with discipline and consistency. So, what does discipline truly mean to you, and how can someone cultivate it in everyday life? That would be really helpful to know.
Discipline basically is, discipline is no fancy, to be
Yes.
very honest, and it's uh, it's simply doing things which need to be done, irrespective of the fact that you may not like to do.
Yeah.
So there are two things in this area. One is motivation, and one is discipline. And motivation is one which starts you up, and
Yes.
discipline is the thing which sustains you. It
Yeah.
helps you to finish what the motivation started. We need to understand this very clear that how motivation behaves. Motivation behaves like an opportunistic friend. It'll just come up anytime,
Right.
and it'll go missing when you want it most.
That's
And
true.
discipline on the other side is something which helps you sustain, and in most difficult situation times, races, and like everybody says, that this individual rose to the occasion. We never rise to the occasion. We fall to our training standards. We always fall to our training standards, and we survive the race because of the training standards. And those training standards are reached by the means of discipline. So that needs to be understood.
I think this is an eye opener for me. Motivation can come at any point, but
Yeah,
discipline is where you sustain and you show up for yourself.
yeah,
Uh, Irrespective of you don't want to get out of your bed and do that or not, but you just show up. That's very nicely put, and I think this difference, if a person will understand, it is very easy to self reflect. At what phase are you in that motivated phase, or are you the motivation is low but still you need to get going and continue.
yeah, yeah, very much.
So you've trained for some of the world's toughest endurance events. So what parallels you to seeing building physical endurance and emotional resilience in life?
There are these two things, uh, part of an individual, and endurance. Endurance builds your body. Endurance is something which builds your body, and resilience is something which builds your soul.
Oh,
And together, uh, they make you unbreakable. They make you unstoppable. In fact, so if you have that fine combination, all extreme endurance athletes have this fine combination. That
mm,
they're physically done up, and they're very resilient.
yes.
And both, I think, endurance and resilience demand the same currency, in the form that um, you have to have patience, you have to be persistent, you have to be committed, and you have to be refusing to quit. So these
Mm,
four things, both the resilience and the endurance demand this.
right.
So it is something like that.
So were you always a resilient person, or was there any turning point in life where you felt like,
I think resilience is the second stage.
okay.
Initially, what happens is, when you start training,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that, uh, let's say endurance, uh, after some time, you'll realize that the legs give away. You do not have that kind of strength to sustain, maybe, if you're doing a very long endurance thing for the first time. So the second thing that happens is the mind starts, whispering. It starts whispering and it starts telling you that no, no more. It starts telling you to stop. And as you continue to strive, as you continue to go ahead and you don't stop, that's how not only that your endurance is building up, your resilience is also building up slowly, slowly. And that's exactly, resilience in a person gets built up as he trains physically. It never happens that you're resilient, but you're not physically done up.
Hmm.
You have to first physically build up, and then resilience starts building slowly, slowly, slowly. It happens. It works this way.
So it's a balance of both. So only when you push harder physically, your mind is also training itself to allow you to not stop,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. It
Okay.
supports mentally. It supports your run
So
or
when you're
race.
explaining this, I am literally visualizing what happens while one is running. You know, like it's like a movie going on where the person is running, the person is tired, and then the brain says, no, not anymore. But then the leg doesn't stop. And
Yeah,
slowly, slowly, the brain is also saying, okay, you can do it. Let's go ahead. So it's
very
very,
much.
I mean, yes, I'm so inspired after listening to this. So, your achievements are extraordinary, but yet you emphasize staying connected to family and values. Like we had a previous conversation, and you did mention about that. So, in the midst of ambition, how do you ensure, or how can today's generation ensure that personal relationships should remain strong? Can you shed some light on that?
Every race that I do, I have gone about helping people to finish their races. In every race, there's not even a single race that I have not helped somebody to finish that race of his. That's how I've been, racing. It's never been my race alone. And I just want to make a mention here that we are all on a kind of race, different races. There are people who are trying to race in the sense that build up financial strength. There are people who are trying to race to build up, power, some kind of political power or power of appointment. And then there are races, physical races, extreme endurance races, sporting races like what I do. But in all these races, there's one race which is most important. It's called race of life. Okay. Now, when you're on this race of life, is the main race that we all run. In this race of life, what happens is that the people who are there with us, who are the people on this journey with us? It is your parents, your wife, your children, your brothers and sisters, and your few friends. They are with you on this race of life. Now, I would not want to be a DNF in this particular race. DNF is did not finish. Okay. I can be DNF anywhere, but I cannot be DNF in the race of life. So we need to say the kind of importance that I give to this race. I'm trying to bring out this point to you. Now, who's a DNF in race of life? See, if you send your parents to old age home, you're a DNF. If you divorce your spouse, you're a DNF. If you fail to bring up your children with good value system, you're a DNF. If you fail to support your brothers and sisters, you're a DNF. If you can't stand by your friends, you're a DNF. So remember this, that family and friends are most important part of your life. You can't be a DNF in this particular race. And I firmly believe that, no finish line is worth crossing, if you can't share the happiness with your family.
Yes.
If I look at my own self, my family is the anchor. They give meaning to the medal or the race or the milestone that I achieve. Now, how I balance this at home is that I try and be part of the smallest event that is happening, small moments at home. I don't wait for the big moments. A lot of us give our family time for big moments. If
True.
there's a birthday, if there's an anniversary, then you want to be back home. I'm saying, don't do that, please. Give time to your family in small moments also. That is what actually makes magic happen. My aspirations, my dreams, or my ambitions, or my runs, they draw me out.
Hmm.
I go out, I race, I train and race.
Right.
But the very fact that the kind of love that you have, the respect that you have, the regard that you have, the relationship that you have with your parents, with your wife, with your children, with your friends, that's exactly is what is going to pull you in back home to the beautiful home of yours. So, you know, um, uh, so I race and I'm back home with the family, and we are all together in this as a family.
Wonderful. I mean, when an individual understands the core value of our existence overall, right? Then that's where we automatically realize the importance of having our family and friends around in our heart or physically, wherever we are. So it's very well explained in terms of understanding what's the worth of success if you don't have your loved ones around.
Yeah,
So
very much, very much.
thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, for someone going through a tough time, emotionally, mentally, or physically, what would be your message about not giving up? Because we did talk about resilience, but that was in sports, and we can correlate that to life. But is there anything that you would love to share out there directly so that it's easier for them to implement it in their life?
You must never quit. My point is that you must never quit. Why? Because we learn from Mother Nature also. Uh, it's a situation. It's always a condition at any
Yes.
point of time. For example, when you see a storm, but you'll see it passing.
Yes.
It'll go. You know. So when there's a dark night,
Hmm.
and you'll see that the dark night also sees a dawn. This is a basic teaching we get from nature. So when there is a situation like that, we must not quit. And I've seen this in the last 54 years of my life. People who quit, they have, it only builds up to regret at some point of time. So, and I also feel that there's a way out. There's a way out of this, and the way out is Arya, that we just need to maybe take a long breath and take another step, and you for sure will see sunshine. I see it that way in life, that you just need to take a breath, take a step, and you will see sunshine. It will not happen that you fail. It will never happen. But a lot of times people give up. And
Yes.
my advice has always been that, don't give up. Never give up.
Wonderful. So, I mean, it's very nice to remember that everything is just a phase. Nothing is going to stay for long, lifelong. So
Yeah.
it's so when we take that up as a perspective, that so I generally also have a thing called as I correlate situations in life to seasons. So when you are in a hibernating mode, you are like too low. I call it a winter season. So you are in the winter phase. When you are like slowly blooming, okay, you feel like you're into the learning phase. You want to do something new. I say myself, okay, Arya, I think you are in spring phase now. You're learning and kuch kar dikhana hai. Something is there. There's little more motivation in you. And then when you are all set and you started implementing everything, and all those things are happening, finally happening, so then you're a summer. So just like that, when people start to correlate or identify which phase of life are you, and just try to find small steps to make yourself comfortable enough to not put yourself down ki, oh, everything is done, everything is shattered, and I'm just going to leave things and not pursue it, and just say that this is a phase and let me embrace this period and do whatever I can and keep moving forward, like you said, one step at a time, whether it is a 5% effort or 100% effort, but effort is effort, some effort, right? So thank you so much for bringing that up, because it is so important for people today to understand that it's the world doesn't end just based on one mere situation, and life just goes on. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
I must also tell you here, Arya, what happens is that a lot of times, because of the age group and uh, in the times we are in, uh, we uh, uh, we are, not focused, and we lack purpose,
Yes.
and least realizing that purpose is what gives you direction, and it is the resilience over the years that you built up makes you sustain it. And you know, if you have purpose, if you have resilience, and then this combination, makes you unstoppable. So if you have a phenomenal team at home, I call my wife, my children, my parents, my brother and sister as the Iron Crew. They are, I do Ironman and they're my crew. So they are such phenomenal team. So it makes you unstoppable. So one needs to have purpose, one needs to be resilient, and one needs to have a great crew. I just
That's
thought I'll make a mention of this.
that's so true, because like you mentioned, one must have purpose. Like, it's truly sad to know that there are a lot of people out there who've not been able to identify their purpose. But when we actually sit and reflect and we know what is our purpose, it's just like there's nothing else that you've thought about. ये तो करना ही है. This is where we are going. At some point of time, I will reach there, right? So when you know that is your north star, everything, like your mindset, your family's mindset, your friends mindset, everything is in that direction. Why? Because we are radiating that aura and energy, that okay, anything that they ask, it will be related to that purpose. And it's not bad, it's just that that's what is going in our mind, and we are very much happy and excited to live that kind of life. So having an amazing crew helps, especially when we communicate our purpose to them. So
Yeah, yeah, very much, very much, very much.
communication is the key. So so Colonel, tell me that you have trained in the heat of India, raised in Taiwan, Malaysia, Australia, and ran across the Sahara Desert. So how do you mentally prepare for this discomfort, and how can we in our daily life prepare for the discomfort of change, transition?
One needs to understand is that discomfort, if you're in discomfort, remember that you are at the right place. If you're in discomfort, okay? And that means that you are in stage of growth. That means it's going to be transformative after this.
Yes.
I'll give you example. While I was racing in Sahara, in the legendary marathon Desert, what we went through was at multiple places in my feet. I had these blisters, completely blistered feet, and the terrain there is grueling, and the weather conditions, we were facing 52, 53 degrees of heat. These are not obstacles, they're just the reminders that growth, finish line, success is on the other side of pain. You got to cross over. So we need to accept discomfort. We need to learn to lean into discomfort. Discomfort is the place where resilience is built.
Yes.
If you are not in discomfort, you will not build up. A lot of times I tell these people who walk up to me saying that, कर्नल साहब ये बताएं कि मेरे को क्या करना है फिटनेस के लिए. So I
Right.
always tell them this, that you just need to go home today and put a mat, single mat in the sense that dari bolte hain na, dari. You just put a dari in your drawing room and put a single bed sheet on it without a pillow and try and sleep tonight on the floor. If you wake up in the morning and you had a great sleep, you're healthy. If you did not and you couldn't sleep, then you're badly off. So it starts from there. Start from there. Discomfort is something that we need to, we need to start living in that kind of thing, and it'll only build you up. It's transformative, as I said.
uh, it's so deep to realize that when you are going through discomfort or when you are in that challenging phase of life, it's just a new chapter and it's a next step to growth. And I think the moment people realize that, they will be more motivated towards pushing themselves. Because what happens, I've seen a lot of people giving up right at the time of discomfort.
Yeah,
uh, and that's the breaking point, right? Even when someone is starting their business in the beginning, oh, everything is beautiful because, okay, I've taken that first step, taken control. A lot of people start their business thinking that, oh, I don't want to work under anyone, and I'll be my own king or queen and I'll start the business. But then when the actual struggle comes up, the sustenance part,
yeah.
that is where they quit and then they go back. But then that's the beauty where you're chasing your dreams. And like I said, when you know your North Star and when you know your purpose, even if there is discomfort, you'll
You
keep
got to
moving.
continue. Yeah, you got to continue. You got to
Yes.
go on.
Yes. And I think that's where this crew that we have, friends and family, play a very important role. Because when it's very lonely, like you said, when you are training, the whole journey of training is very lonely. In any phase of life, in at work, starting your own business, health, relationship, when there is discomfort, it gets very lonely. And that's when you have a good set of people around you, you feel like, okay, I have someone who believes in me. Of course, self belief is the most important, but still.
It's like, you're crew to your family, they're crew to you.
Yes,
So all of you have races. Everybody's in a different timeline, and you got to stand by each other, and you got to
absolutely.
help each other build up.
Absolutely. And so Colonel, tell me, what does strength mean to you beyond just physical? I would like to know your perspective on that.
Strength is not just be able to lift heavy weights, Arya. It's strength is like, if you're able to go about doing your things with grace, is also strength. Strength is, having the courage to speak out. Strength is to be resilient, to rise from failure. And I think strength is to be able to stand by. I mean, uh, beyond the physical abilities that we generally talk about. Arya, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There is a
Yes.
break. There is a break in
Okay. I
between.
could I could
So,
still hear you
okay,
well.
okay. So now there's another aspect which is related to it. What we don't realize is that the muscles that we have, like even I had maybe what 4 years back, I was quite well done. So the muscles also kind of fade. They fade with time. They loosen up and then you start losing muscle. But what stays with you throughout your life is character. So if you have that, I think that's a great strength. That's a great strength.
That's wonderful because it's you're bound to age, right? Age is just a biological phenomena that happens. Muscle will fade out, beauty will fade out, but wisdom, maturity, that's what is going to build your character.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm turning 30 this year. And I was asked, like, I had an interview last time, and when that person was talking to me, it's like, okay, how do you feel turning 30? And I was like, I'm very happy to turn 30. And he's like, you're the first person, first lady to say you're very happy to turn 30. Why are you so happy to turn 30? I was like, I would finally be a life coach who can be told that okay, I am in my 30s and not in my 20s. So it's just a matter of perspective, right? A person who is young could be wise and have a beautiful character. A person who is old still has areas of growth, but it's all about, I will circle back to your first point, lifelong learning,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So when you have an amazing character, the and lifelong learning, I can summarize what you just said, that you are a very strong person. If I have summarized it, okay.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So I have one last question, Colonel. If you had to leave the next generation with just one message, something that's timeless and personal, what would that be?
The younger generation should not, think of living a easy life, but they must certainly think of, living a meaningful one. And comfort will never get you greatness, I think. So we need to seek challenges. We need to, uh, be more disciplined, and we need to uh, be working towards it. I think, Arya, what happens is, all of us work towards comfort. All of us are seeking comfort. At least realizing that's where the growth doesn't exist. It's only exists in discomfort.
True.
So, and if you're a person who's lived with courage, humility, and patience, then maybe you leave this world better than what you found it. So these are the kind of things that the younger generation needs to adopt. Uh,
True.
their life should be more rooted in values. I think
Yes.
those are important things. Family is an important thing, you know.
Yes.
So that's where, when I look at the world outside, how I see it is that it is that, I'll give an example. I did a talk in Fort Rea where I told them this, that these people who work in Fort Rea, they work in AC environment, and they have cabs dropping them, bringing them to office, and they have laptops given by the company, and and they're being paid well. And how is it that in the army get paid maybe one third, one fourth of them? We don't have. They don't give us laptops. They don't pick us up, drop us back home. We do not have carpeted floor, AC offices, but still they have higher attrition rate and we don't. So it's all about building up character. It's all about building up your own self, and it's all about strengthening your body, mind, character. My father used to always say this, that man is somebody who has a very sharp mind, a strong body, and you know good character and a strong spirit. So I think all people of the younger generation should aspire to be doing that,
I
rather
think,
looking for comfort.
Colonel, the example that you shared about working in an office and people in the armed forces having one fourth of the facilities, right? People in the armed forces again have purpose,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think that's what is driving them versus, of course, like working in a corporate, you always have an option to switch, and the purpose is very different, right? So again, bringing back to
Yeah,
purpose.
I must bring this out to you that Arya, the people in the defense forces leave their home every day in the morning to go and do their duty, but
Yes,
money is not on mind. It's
absolutely.
it's the duty. And
Yes,
I think people who are outside working, maybe they look at profits, and they, of course, it's that kind of growth they are looking. So
right.
maybe we don't look for money. We don't look
That's
for money.
true. That's true. And then also about perspective, I would like to add that you did mention, right, when there is discomfort, there is growth. And today's generation could probably learn from that and, not be very comfortable and in one place, so that, there is slow growth. I believe that what's happening in terms of understanding this perspective in today's generation is that learning to enjoy what you have and where you are should be balanced with growth, is what I feel. What is happening is they believe that you should enjoy what you have, but the enjoyment phase is so long that the discomfort is not gelled that well. However, it's good to enjoy your present, but then you should also feel grounded and rooted to your purpose and challenge yourself. Otherwise, because if there's no challenge, how will you grow? So
Yeah,
I
very much, very
Yes,
much.
so I think it's more about understanding why one must grow. And so where what happens is, like, especially like my parents also, whenever they used to tell me that you should keep working hard as a child, when I was in college, I was like, if I keep working hard, I'll burn out. How will I enjoy my life? And all those things used to come up back then. Okay. And then discomfort, you should learn how to take a bus, you should go by local and all those things. And I did that. And I enjoyed doing that. That was a different story. But now that when I think about it, there's a very beautiful sentence in a movie called Finding Nemo. In our days, it was an animated movie, and
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that movie.
I've watched it in Hindi and English because back then it used to come in both the languages. And there was this one character fish that used to say "Tairte raho, bas tairte raho." That keeps on going in my mind now, right? You enjoy it, but keep on swimming. तैरते रहो,
Yeah,
बस तैरते रहो. So,
amazing.
and then you see what's happening in your life, take those memories and just move forward. So I think the generation just needs to understand what the previous elders are trying to say, from where they are coming, and then bring in your current values, because values are also changing now, and then just तैरते रहो, बस तैरते रहो. Wonderful. So, Colonel Lamba, this was amazing. I have taken my personal notes, and I think the viewers are also enjoying. They're going to enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your humility, your grit, and your heart. What I find so inspiring is not just the feats, though they are monumental, but how you choose to walk this life, anchored in purpose, grounded in relationship, and always reaching deeper. So, for those who are watching, I invite you to sit with what resonated, which piece of discipline, resilience, or grounding speaks to your path. Because real change isn't in imitation, but it's in habitating what resonates in your bones. So, this has been Voices That Shift You, a space where stories expand our possibilities. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Colonel Lamba, for being a voice that shifts. Until next time, stay courageous, stay connected, and keep stretching your edge. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Arya. Thank you so much.